Real Red Talk. It's Manchester United versus Bournemouth at Old Trafford. And here are the lineups for you as we get into it. Let me just squidge us over here just so I can whack that on there. Dan, you're going to be on the screen, so talk us through that team, mate. We've got Lamont, Heaven, Euro, Shaw as the back three because Mazraoui is not allowed to stay. He's had to go off to the African Cup of Nations with Morocco. However, AMAD and MBEUMO are allowed to stay. So AMAD starts at right wing back, Diego Dolo at left wing back, Cass and Bruno in the middle, and then MBEUMO, Cunha, and Mason Mount as the front three. Happy?
Yeah, I mean, I can't be more happier just to see Mboma and Diallo to have with us for one more game. So I think that's good. That's the advantage for us. And today is the game for us to take us to the fifth position. And I mean, we have to take the maximum profit out of it. And with the lineup, I think it's looking decent. That's not bad enough. You know, you have I mean, the young players with the high potential, with the high stamina in the back line. I mean, the experiences, when you look at on papers, the experience side is a bit low when you see in the defense wise, and that area also we have been struggling because we are conceding goals on each and every game. But on the attack side, I think we are pretty much having each and every player that we want on the pitch, bar as proper striker. But again, we have like I mean with Mason Mount and Cunha and Mbomo in the last game that we had the goals. So I think we have enough firepower at this point. But only concern would be with the inexperienced defense. That's the only thing that I'm concerned about. But rather than that, I think attack-wise we are good.
Yeah, it's quite a young backline in it, if you want to kind of call it that. Heaven, he's getting a little bit better in it. You look at the game against West Ham, he was very, very shaky. And then against Wolves, he was decent. But then can we look into that too much, given the fact that Wolves are pretty shit, aren't they? So can we get overhyped a little bit with that? Have you been impressed with him or steady performance, in your opinion?
I mean, you can see that he is, I mean, improving. So he's still very young. So we cannot put so much pressure on him. But yeah, it is how it is. We are in the need of a defender, and that's where we are going with him. So I think he should be fine with having Shaw on the left hand side, and I think he will be playing the central role. I mean, with Euro on the right side. So I think he's bit protected with the experience on the left side and with the pace on the right side. So I think he should be fine. But yeah, you can see that progress he is making towards, and the talent is there. I mean, the all the abilities are there. So I think with the games goes on, with the experience, that's what I mean. With the minutes that he's getting, he should be taking the maximum profit out of it, and that's where you can see him developing and kind of cementing himself in this team.
Yeah. I look at it and I'm like, it's the way I feel about Man United in certain games, the way they perform is they have those kind of moments, don't they? The kind of 15-minute periods where everything's a little bit chaotic and they don't have that kind of experience. And sometimes, even though we have talented players like Euro and Heaven,
Yeah.
because they are young, that's why we have. But don't get me wrong, the experienced players have those moments as well. Shaw and Maguire had plenty of those moments, but
Yeah.
it does seem to stem from that a little bit when there's a little bit of nervousness. Ruben Amorim's spoken about that in the press conference when he speaks about Patrick Dorgu, who can't seem to get a minute. He literally can't seem to get on the pitch now. So what's changed, Dan? Why is Dorgu not starting now and not all of a sudden it's Dallo? Is it Dallo's performances? Because he has been quite good, in fairness, in the past couple of games.
Maybe some relations. But yeah, but yeah, I mean, when you see the difference between Dallo and Dogu, definitely you might prefer Dallo. I mean, sorry, I mean you might prefer Dogu. But I'm not sure what has happened that is making the manager to select Dallo. Maybe because of the contribution on attack side, but then again there is the other side of defense that is being compromised in that position. So I mean, it's really hard to see sometimes to digest these kind of scenarios where you see that there is a left back who is a actual left back, and there is a player who plays on the right side, and he's not even that great, and he's been put on and played on the left hand side. So it's really difficult to digest that. But I mean, maybe you can see that with Amorim in the recent games, he has been trying Dallo to push him ahead on the pitch so that he can contribute while attacking, and that's where he got the goal and also the assist. And you can see that moreover he has been in a position where he can create chances or be at the end of those chances. So I think that area of Dallo, I think Amorim is trying to explore. But yeah, again, I mean, I'm unable to even convince myself with these talks, because I know that personally I would prefer Dogu on that side. But again, if I mean, you cannot even question at this point, because Dallo is giving you goals and assists. So with the recent performances, so you cannot question them. But you know in your heart that Dogu should be preferred than Dallo. But I mean, it's how it is. So I'm not sure what has caused this scenario to come up. But yeah, it has to change. But I mean, I'm clueless about this at this point.
Yeah, you're not the only one, mate. I'm sure there's quite a few of us. If you are joining us, by the way, please do get your thoughts and feelings in on that starting 11. To be honest, I didn't really expect much more. I don't know what the lads predicted when they did the preview. I'm not, because I didn't have a chance to watch that, but I'm pretty sure they probably would have gone for a similar kind of starting 11. I'm happy to have AMAD, I must admit, because it was very touch and go. There was a lot of people who didn't genuinely know if they would be involved or not. So I'm very happy with that. I think that right hand side, having those there is super, super important. I just don't know, Dan, um, who's going to play there. Who would you put there personally when they do eventually go? Because we're going to have a few games without them.
I think maybe I mean, with the options that we have, I think it would be like Dogo again will be coming back into the team and playing as a left wing back, and maybe Dallo would be shifting towards the right hand side.
Mm-hmm.
And with Sesko coming in, I think Cunha will be moved towards the right and Mason Mount on the left. So that's the I mean, setup I can think of. I mean. I mean, you cannot compromise with Bruno's position at this point. You know that when he's kind of, I mean, gelling well in that area, and he's being fitting himself well in that position. So you cannot change him, and nobody's there to replace him. Maybe Kobe Mino, but now with all the things that the going around him, I don't think he will get a position in that particular mid pivot. So I think that's how it's going to be. So we might be seeing more of our traditional wing backs playing on both either of the wing backs role. So I mean, that's how it's going to set up, because we don't have any other options, to be honest.
No, no, yeah, you're absolutely right. It does worry me because I look at the level of games that we have without those players, and I'm not sure specifically, but I'm pretty sure we play Aston Villa, we play Newcastle,
Mm.
we play some of the boys who are going for Europe effectively. So that's what worries me a little bit, because I do think you take MBEUMO and Ahmad out of the team. Would you argue that they're our biggest threats, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean that right hand side is like handicapped without without Mboma and Ama. Then people will be. I mean, the opponents will be really happy to see that happening with
Yeah.
us. To be honest, because that's where the I mean, that has been the threat condition for us, and you have seen that they both have been kind of causing a lot of trouble to the opponents, and also creating so many chances. And whenever Ahmad or Mboma gets the ball, they both are kind of in a position of creating chances and being dangerous to the opponents. And not only the attack wise, but also in the defense wise, I can see that they can. They whenever we lose the ball, they both have been running backward. I mean, they have been on their toes to, I mean, track back. So that area. I mean, they have been while in the attack also they have been contributing, and also in the defense. So that kind of I mean, replacement, I don't think we'll be able to produce at this point. Maybe Amaroon would be looking out to change the formation. That's what have been going out in the media.
Hmm.
That we might be going some. I mean, trying 4-3-3. I mean, I don't mind that, because you know that nobody is there at this point in the team who can replace Ahmad and Mbumo and give that same level of performance, as well as, I mean, something closer to that. But yeah, I think that's how it's going to be. But with the opponents, they will be. I mean, they will be licking their lips, and they'll be very happy to see that happening with us.
Yeah, 100%. I will get into your chats in a minute. Just for people who was wondering about the substitutes, I'll put that on the screen as well. So These are the ones on the bench. You've got Bayande, Dorgu, Fredrickson, Malacio, Lissandro Martinez, Manuel Ugarte, Kobe Mainu, Joshua Zirkzee, and Benjamin Sheshko does make the bench. So we'll talk about subs a little bit later on as well. But yeah, I'm glad Sheshko was there, Dan. I felt like there was a bit of a, not just because I like him as a player, but I do feel there's a bit of a presence missing there. I always said, even from a tactical point of view, having him there, having a target man to hit, naturally gives the players like MBEUMO and Cunha so they can kind of operate in those pockets.
Mm.
So I want to touch on the formation thing that you alluded to before, and Ruben Amorim just mentioned something about this. He said the formation is not the most important thing; it's the way you set up the team and try to take advantage of your opponent. We have to think about the future. We're going to lose 2 wingers, so we need to adapt with the players. That we have. It's always the same thing. So I'm very interested to see how he's going to go about that, because you take AMAD and MBEUMO out, we don't really have. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but we don't really have natural wingers there, do we? Who like to drag out wide and go 1v1, because Cunha likes to play in those pockets. Mason Mount
Yeah.
likes to play in those pockets. So who is going to provide that width for us? Because he's not even playing Patrick Dorgu either.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, we don't have that kind of wingers at this point. If we let, I mean, with Mboma and Ahmed unavailable, I don't think we have any wingers who can be like a trickster, or who can just cut inside and looking for a shot. So that kind of player, or I mean, or a player who can run past defenders with a high pace. So I think, uh, to be honest, with the players available to us, I don't think we can actually go with the 4-3-3, because in that position you will definitely need the wingers who are pacey and who are very skillful and who can maybe bypass one or two defenders at least and create chances. So that kind of a place I don't think we have at this moment. But I can maybe sense to I can sense we can maybe probably to moving towards 4-3-3 with the wingers playing more inside, kind of an inside forward rather than being more wider wingers. So that's the only option I can see. But if we play 4-3-3, I definitely feel Kobe Mino has his place in this team with that setup, and he can be fit into that mid three. And also you can see that playing 4-3-3 will make us to use two center backs with the current lack of center backs that we have. So I think that would be also fitting us well with that. I mean, crisis of the center backs at this point. So I think it will fit well. To be honest, with the lack of attackers and with the lack of center backs. So, and also we have the players like Kobe Mino who are not used at this point. So. So overloading players in the midfield when we have players like Kobe Mino, and also cutting one defender center back when we are in a lack of center backs, and also in the attack wise with Sesko coming in, who can be the target forward. So that's where it should be. I mean, I'm not sure what it's there going on with the Amorin's mind at this point. What how he's planning the next few games with the absence of these crucial players. So I think it's. I mean, as per me personally, I would also say that 4-3-3 would be the option at this point, because I mean the options that we have is very limited. So I mean Amorin and also, and it's obvious that when it has come up in the media, so definitely that is something going on with that particular setup.
Mm. I'm glad you mentioned Kobe Mainu, because obviously it's been a talking point all year. You can't really get away from it. But
Yep.
not only just that, whenever Amarim has spoken about academy players, it seems really harsh in some of the stuff that he's saying. So some of the stuff on like Harry Amas saying, "Oh,
Yeah.
he's not doing that well for his club," when I'm pretty sure got like Player of the Month and he's won a couple of awards or whatever. I don't know. It's a bit weird that he seems very negative about the academy, doesn't it? Like for a United coach. Now, I'm not going out there and saying you should just be playing players for the sake of it, right? But to be listing off like Toby Collier and Harry Amas and Mainu and basically saying they're not good enough is like, if you're a current academy player, that's not going to provide you with any hope at all here, and that is it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I heard that Amarin saying about the young players, even I was feeling a bit odd,
Mm,
because the whole conversation was around Kobe Mino, and it was not required to bring other young players into the conversation. And I mean, he could have definitely avoided it. And now it has become, I mean, kind of a negativity towards Harry Amas and Chido. Rather, I mean, I haven't heard or haven't seen them, I mean, any discussion around them, and now suddenly the coach mentions that, and definitely it will bring up a negative perception on these players, whether they are not performing at the highest level. And you can suddenly see that Harry Amas come back with his status,
Yeah.
putting a status with the trophy. So this kind of thing is not. I mean, it seems like Amorin has called it for it, and I even won't blame Amos at this point, because I mean, though he has done not done, I mean, it could become like a Cold War thing. But I mean, Amorim could have avoided that and saying that, and even young players who are there already, who are, I mean, trying to make themselves available for the senior teams and performing at a very high, I mean, putting in their hard works, it will, I mean, kind of demotivate them as well. And you know that whenever he is mentioning the players like Harry Amas and Chido and Kobe Maino, you can see that these players are at some point in the future they will be playing for the top teams.
Mm.
The talent and the development is there for them to take. So even for them itself, the feedback is like this. So how would it will be feeling? The other players, other young players will feel about that. So personally, I feel that Amaram could have avoided mentioning other youth players and rather than sticking just to Kobe Mino.
It baffles me because I'm trying to think, okay, well, what's the purpose in you saying it? Because sometimes
Yep.
coaches do it, don't they, to get like a bit of a reaction to like, but
Mm,
that's usually senior players. Like I remember Jose doing it with Luke
yeah.
Shaw. I'm sure Ten Hag's done it with like Rashford and players like that. Senior players who are out of a bit of form, and you try to give them a bit of tough love, and it's like, right, let's get a reaction from it. But young players are pretty sensitive. Like, you
Yeah.
know, if Toby Collier saw those quotes in the media or Harry Amas, I'm sure it would have dampened the confidence a little bit that their own manager doesn't really believe in him. That's the most
Yeah.
damning thing for me. And that can damage academy products. And whether you're looking at academy products as a business commodity or someone
Mm,
who's going to have a future position in the team, it's not going to help either way, whichever way you look at it. So those comments, I like Amarin's honesty at times. But there is, and people may disagree, there is a case where you can be too honest. And
mm,
sometimes you do have to play a little bit of politics with especially with
yeah.
Manchester United when you're in the eye of the storm and this media circus and cloud. You've got to kind of be a bit of a puppet master, not a puppet master. That's the wrong words to use, but you've got to know when to play your cards and when to keep them close, in my opinion. And I wasn't really a fan of how I went about that, even though I agree with the Mainu situation in the fact that and I've spoke about this with you before, haven't I? I don't think he should play over Casemiro or Bruno Fernandes, and I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
think he should
Yeah.
play over
100%.
Cunha or
Yeah.
Mason Mount. But it's like, should a coach Dan change his philosophy? And we've talked about formation and the change of tactics, etc. Should a coach change to fit him in your opinion?
In my opinion, I personally believe that when the coach believes that 3-4-3 is the formation for him to go, then definitely he can stick to that. And it's completely understandable with the current setup that we have. You cannot replace Bruno Fernandes and you cannot replace Casemiro, because to be honest, Kobe Mino doesn't fit both of that role. And for other positions like Cunha and Mbumo and Sesko, you cannot replace them either. So I personally felt like it's not the case that Kobe Minor should be starting the games, but rather than my only thing about the manager's decision is like we could have been managed a bit more in a better way, to give him little more minutes, at least 20 odd minutes per game. And there have been moments. I'm just saying this because there have been moments that where we are in a need of a creativity and that calmness in the game to bring in.
Mhm.
And we had an option in Kobe Mino who is all about that calmness, and he has not been given chance to play in. So that's where my concern is about against this particular situation, about this situation. But at this point, even I believe that it's not the place for Kobe Mino to be in this current setup, and he cannot start that. He can be a starting 11 at least when we are playing this 4-3. I mean 3-4-3 setup. But yeah, at times we could have been even managed him better, to be honest. And also to add on with the previous discussion about the manager's comments, I sometimes feel that Amorim could use the tactics of Eric Ten Hag in his initial tenure, when Eric Ten Hag was asked few straightforward questions, and Eric Ten Hag has never given any answers, straightforward answers, and he has just kind of rolled it out and just given so random answers. So I mean, Amorim could have done similar kind of thing in today's thing. I mean, even now, if with these comments, I mean, those players will be looking definitely out of Manchester United at this point. They will be thinking like, when I with these comments, they would definitely have a feeling that they will not have the future in here, and they will be already looking out and considering a move outside. So I mean, that's there how it is. But yeah, to be honest, I mean, I'm really sad about this Mino situation, because you know that there is a player who costs, if we are going for Mino today in the market, he will definitely cost us 50, 60 million. And now here we are in a situation where we are unable to use him in this lineup. So I mean, it's how it is. The situation is there. We cannot complain about that, because you know that the setup is there where Kobe Mino doesn't fit in. But yeah, definitely Kobe Mino could have been given more minutes, to be honest.
Do you think though, when he's actually come on the pitch, you think he's done enough, Dan?
No, to be honest, he has not. I mean, changed the games. But again, I need few more. I mean, some more minutes from him
Yeah,
to be on
I
the
get that.
pitch to, I mean, kind of judge his performances. Because whenever you see that he's coming on at last 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and already we are struggling in a moment, we are in struggling. So he has never come into. Uh, I mean, kind of a game where the game is already well settled. So he has always come in a position where we are already losing the game, and it becomes like it affects his performance. So I
Yeah.
mean, that's how it's not fair to judge him at this point, when with the amount of minutes that he's got. But yeah, I need some more minutes from him to kind of actually judge about his performance.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm going to get into your comments very, very shortly, I promise. There was just a quote from Amarin here. So, Ruben Amarin on United's recent form. Inconsistency, of course. We are winning more games. We're not losing so many games. That is not enough. We had some moments which could be crucial to win more points this season, and we need to acknowledge that. And he's spoken about conceding way too many goals as well. He said that's a problem, which, I mean, when you go through the stats, I did a bit of a comparison the other day between Enzo Maresca and Ruben Amorim, which people might think, oh, well, that's a bit stupid. But if you actually look at the league table, we was level on points at the time, 25 points each, I think, or it might be a little bit more. We have scored more goals than Chelsea, but it's the defensive side when you look into it. There's one clean sheet and we've conceded 22 goals. I mean, even Wolves scored against us, who hadn't scored in 5 games before that. So it shows that there is defensive fragilities there. And it just, again, it's that time lapse of 10 minutes where, like, it
Yeah.
just happens like that. And everyone's scratching their head and, like, what the fuck's going on here? So if they actually got rid of that, it's a good job we are scoring goals, by the way, because if we're
Hmm.
not, then honestly, we would have lost a lot because we're almost outscoring teams a little bit. But yeah, defensively, there's definitely a worry there. But anyway, I will get into the chat now. Ruben throwing our academy under the bus really ticked me off. It's not the United way. We just need the 3 points after our last 2 crap home performances. Sad to see AMAD and MBEUMO go after this. And there is another chat in there, but I can't read whatever that language is, so apologies for that. Earliest they can be back is the Leeds game because it's the last group stage game in the 31st. Is it really? Is it that long? Oh, the 31st. Oh, is that 31st of December? Oh, you're not on about January. Ivory Coast and Cameroon in the same group, so you hope no one can slip up. Sounding like a man who's going to play 4-4-2. Sam saying this doesn't look like a 4-3-3 to me, lads. No, it won't be. Like we said in the
No.
quotes, it'll be after the game, won't it? Not well after this game, should I say, when the players go away. If I was JJ Gabriel reading those comments, I'd run straight to Barca. What the fuck was the point about Hamas? According to Wednesday fans, he's their player of the season. Bin says, hello, bro, United fans from Mauritius. That's nice to see. Mauritius. I don't even know where that. I know the country, but I don't know where that's based. Do you know where Mauritius is based, Dan?
No, no, no. But definitely, I wanted to go in that.
Beautiful place, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, especially when you compare it to Manchester Eccles over here. I can promise you that. I'm looking outside now, and the weather is just fucking horrendous. Always is in Manchester. The cameo at Wolves from Mainu was his best yet, in my opinion. Won so many free kicks in tight spaces. Need to see more of him in
Yeah.
these 3 weeks. And Nice fan says, absolutely ridiculous. I don't want to hear any more about Semenyo. He's never coming to play wing back. Sack Amorim now. I mean, we're not even kicked off yet, and people are already saying sack Amorim, which is very interesting. But he's certainly he's going out of favour a little bit. I think the fans have been quite loyal to Ruben Amorim, haven't they, Dan? In backing him and supporting him, even when he's losing games when he first came in. Last season was horrendous, finished 15th, and fans were still singing his song. Do you think something like this might twist it with the fans, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I cannot deny that we have been playing a bit of football, to be honest. Like in the era of Eric Ten Hag, we haven't seen that kind of a passing that we are doing now, and especially with I mean, with that 1-2 passes that have been missing for long, and we are playing good football. It's not like we are just totally, completely bad. We are playing good football. It's just what you mentioned about the transition of that little 5-10 minutes that just overturns everything, and we will be playing like a prime Manchester United kind of a level of football, and then suddenly we goes off and it's like we are the worst team in the world, and that's have been the case for us. And in so many games where we have dropped points, we have been leading those games, and especially that run of I mean 3-4 games of draws, we were winning those games, and it's just that when we score goals, we are unable to defend well, and at the same time when we concede goals we are unable to break the defense. So it
Mm.
has been the kind of a repetitive thing that we have seen. We are not able to kill the games, but though we have been in that glimpses where you see that in this season itself, like we have been in a moments where we could have even reached second spot or third spot. So that's how that's the height from where we have been fallen again and again. So there have been chances, but it's like we are not able to grab it. And I don't put that up on the manager level, because I can see that the players' performance has been dipped a lot, and in between in the games itself, that suddenly they will be playing very beautiful game, and then suddenly they'll be like totally playing like a very low standard. So I think it's not on the manager, but rather on the players, that they are unable to cope up with that same intensity throughout the game. Rather than it's like it's I can see that it's a mentality problem rather than a manager problem. And yeah, I think keep giving one more year at least till the end of this season to Amorim. I think it's a earned chance at this point. But yeah, anything can happen, especially with this AFCON. I'm really scared about this next 1 month. So
Yeah.
anything can happen in this next 4 or 5 games.
AFCON, the senior players are going to have to step up. So Mason Mount now, who I think is starting to hit a little bit of form. I think he's 4 goals in
Yeah.
his last 5 starts or something like that. Probably had his best game against Wolves, and the way he was dropping into pockets, playing through the lines, dummies, back heels,
Yeah.
took his goal really well. I'm really impressed with his performance. But then Mateus Cunha's another one. Amarin's just been speaking about him. He said, I think Cunha did a really good job last game. He had some chances. He has to score more goals. He's doing his thing. He's creating overloads in certain areas of the game. Now, I've been relatively critical of Mateus Cunha only because I expected a little bit more of him.
Mm.
He's one for me, Dan, who has to take it a level up in the absence of MBEUMO and AMAD. Talk to me.
Yeah, definitely. You can. I mean, I see that. I mean, the Cunha that we saw at the early of the season, it's not the same now. Maybe because of that injury, he is not performing at the same level. But again, you can see that you have already seen the level of him, and now he's not performing at the same level. So definitely, there needs an improvement in his position. In this, I mean, in his personal position of showing himself as a to that level of what the fans have in mind. I mean, for me, he's kind of one of the top player as how Mbumo has shown. So he's at the same level when he came in, the same impact that was expected from him as well. But he has been kind of an on and off. But when you can still see that he's been putting 100%. I mean, there's no denying that he's not putting his work rate. I mean, we cannot question his work rate, but that but something is not clicking up, at least in the last few games. I mean, the Wolves game, you can see that the difference was there, but again, you can see that Wolves team that was really bad. I mean, you cannot judge his performance based on that Wolves game, but he has to step up, to be honest. And I mean, we definitely need to be seeing that same performance that he was putting at the beginning of this season, and especially at this point when you know that your kind of the game changer players are, I mean, going out, you have to take that responsibility and be a game changer. And I hope that works out. But again, his position also is getting changed again and again. So sometimes he's playing as a striker role, and sometimes he's playing as a number 10. So I don't see that as a much bigger problem. But yeah, you can see that with the ability and the skills that he has, so he should be able to be a game changer rather than a spectator in that. But he has to definitely step up. So I mean, today should be the game for him to come up and show that he can be dependable when players like MBEUMO and AMAD goes out.
As for the opposition, Bournemouth, they've been a little bit of a bogey team for us, aren't they? You can kind of put them in the same category as your Brightons and Crystal Palaces. Especially you look at the performances under Eric Ten Hag, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at times. Bournemouth, yeah, they just seem to have our number, whether it was at Old Trafford or whether it was at their ground. They seem to outplay us, and they are a team who like to press. And
Yeah,
probably one of the best pressing teams in the league. They are energetic, super energetic, and when they win the ball back, with the players up top that they've got, like even that Krupi who's come into the team recently, looks decent. But Semenyo, we will get onto in a minute. Justin Cliver, like they've got those kind of attacking players who can kill you in transitional moments. But what have you made of them? Because they started off really well, didn't they? But I was having a look before. I think like the last 5 or 6 games, they haven't won a game, which is crazy, right? Which does that feel like it's kind of set up for United to break that record?
that's where I'm even more scared, because you know that whenever you are playing against a team who are struggling, you definitely drop points,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you become a very worst team in the league, and
With
that's where my fear is all about.
15th in the league, Dan, at the minute. Yeah, which is crazy.
Oh man.
Yeah,
I'm to
so
be honest, I'm more if you are playing against Manchester City or Liverpool, I'm not that much scared.
yeah.
But playing against the lower table teams, I'm more scared, and especially with that team who has not won a game for I mean, so many matches,
Mm,
and it's like it's a stage set for Bournemouth, and I mean, I cannot deny the fact that we have been disappointed with the whenever we played against a struggling team, and especially with Bournemouth, they have that firepower in them with Semenyo and Evanilson
Evan
on the
Nilsson.
right hand side.
Evan
Evan
Nilsson's
Nilsson,
the
Evan Nilsson.
striker.
So on the right hand side. So yeah. So these kind of players are there who can hit us back in the counter attack. The pace
Mhm,
they have and the skills they have. So we need to be really careful, and especially um, they'll be targeting our left hand side with Dallo.
mhm.
And they would definitely be knowing that that's the area to focus on. And also, I mean, if I'm a Bournemouth manager, I'll be focusing towards the wing side, because you know that Dallo is not solid at defense at times, and also with Ahmad more contributing towards the attack side. So and also I can see that even Euro is not at his best,
Mm,
especially in the confidence level. So they'll be targeting that winger side, to be honest. And
mm,
I think they have all the firepowers in them to hurt us back. So
yeah,
I mean, we should be really careful. And again, I'm saying, I mean, again and again, every match before the match, I say like, just go and kill the game in the first half itself. Just
mhm,
score the goals and keep yourself safe. And then in the second half, you can give chances to Sesko, because definitely this is the game you have to bring on Sesko to bring him up to speed, because
yeah.
with the next week you definitely have to play him with the lack of players. So I think this should be the plan for today's game, just to get a few goals at least before the halftime, and then bring on Sesko in the second half to give him some experience to bring him up to the speed.
I agree. And the manager of Bournemouth, Adone Iraola, says our press challenges against the back three. United play a lot of direct balls, so if you want to press, there is always the danger of becoming a very long team and leaving spaces in between. So he's talking about adapting to the way Ruben Amorim plays. I'm trying to think of previous encounters where these two coaches have come up. against each other. Obviously, I think about last season, but last season was just kind of a write-off anyway. This is the first time playing Bournemouth this season. So if we've truly improved as a team, we need to see a win tonight, especially at Old Trafford. And I always mention the Premier League table. And I know people don't like looking at it. And people say it's a bit of a curse to do that and get ahead of yourselves. But there's another opportunity there. Simple again. I think Everton lost, Brighton lost, Tottenham got beat 3-0 by Nottingham Forest. Newcastle lost to Sunderland. Bournemouth, like I said, at a 15th themselves. So we've got a real opportunity to start creating a bit of a gap here. If we win 28 points, we go above Crystal Palace into 5th position, which it looks like, I mean, the English teams are going quite far in European competitions at the minute, which probably means that, 5th place is going to get you Champions League football. And if you get in there on 28 points, I mean, you do create a gap there. We'll be 6 points ahead of Tottenham, 6 points ahead of Newcastle. And, you can start putting in some concrete performances now. And like we said, this is the last game before MBEUMO and AMAD and Mazraoui go. Well, Mazraoui's already gone anyway, but the last game, so it's important. You need to get 3 points tonight. But it just has that feeling, doesn't it, Dan? Like Bournemouth, I don't know. What's your overall feeling before we get into the predictions?
Yeah, I mean that's what it makes this game so much of importance, because you know that at points at some time during the season Liverpool will be coming back, and also there are chances that the teams like Brighton, Tottenham, and Newcastle will have a run of games where they win more than United. So that's where this game is more important, just to secure that position for some time, because you know that, as you mentioned, like when the players like Mboma and Ahmad goes, we are more, we'll be more prompted to drop points. So that's where this becomes a very important game for us to win this and get the 3 points and bring us back to at least somewhere closer to that top four. So the 5th position would be. So we can afford to maybe drop little points, so that when Mboma and Ahmad comes back, we should be in the touching distance. So today is going to be the big leap for us, and it's so important, not just for the table, but also considering the next 1 month, and we have to get this 3 points.
Yeah. Ray is saying, surprisingly, Bournemouth are 6 without a win. Everton, West Ham, Bournemouth are lost tonight, and that's 1 from 9. That's no good. Can't underestimate how important 3 points are, with Villa away next. 1 point from 9 at home is what I mean in my comment above. Yeah, no problem. Scholes called it out. Amarim hasn't got a clue about this club. We should have kept Ralph Ragnick. Do you remember him? Ralph Ragnick, Jesus. Have to say, I actually was fuming when I woke up for work this morning and heard the garbage he was saying. Speaking of Dalot, get used to him playing right back, right wing back for the next month now for 90 minutes. Dalot's been all right the past couple of games, though. I'm not saying he's turned a corner and it's a revolution, but you got to go off form, right? And he's been a lot better. And so hopefully he stays like that. Just one last note on the academy. Taking Lacey out of routine for weeks to not give him a minute is shameful. And Andy Singh can see Bournemouth for winning this game for some reason. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people who feel like that. But that leads us nicely, Dan, for the last minutes to get into the 4 things we see happening in this game. So where's your heart at with this? What are you going with?
I'm going with Mason Mount assist or goal, and Sesko coming on in the second half and winning. I mean, this game will be decided with a difference of 1 goal, and I mean, both the teams will score.
Yeah. We don't keep clean
So that will
sheets.
make me going for 2-1. I feel
United?
United. Yeah, United.
Let's have to
I have
double
to
check.
go.
I have to double check that. Oh God, this is such a tough game to call. Monday night at Bournemouth. But I don't know, if you're going off patterns of this season, we have beat the bogey teams. We've beat Palace, we've beat Brighton, we beat Liverpool at Anfield. So
But that Everton game, it just gets me.
yeah, and the West Ham game as well is another one, and they're in a similar area to where Bournemouth are at the minute.
Yeah.
So maybe a draw. If you're going with a safe bet, I'd probably say a draw, and maybe a goal scoring one as well. Maybe a 2-2. I might go with. I'll go both teams to score. I'll go draw. I'll go Lenny Yoro getting a yellow card, because I think Semenyo is going to be deployed on that left-hand side. I haven't seen Bournemouth's team, so I don't know. But if he is, then I think Yoro's going to have some defending to do against him, and he'll end up picking up a yellow. So draw, both teams score. Lenny Yoro yellow. And then I think score or assist for us, it's kind of like, Jesus. Bruno's going to score or assist in it. He always does. And yeah, third most goal involvements, I think, in the league. Or that might have changed now with the other games being played, but that's what I'm going to go with. So get yours in the comments section. If there might be some in there already. Predictions: 2-1 United. MBEUMO farewell goal. Bruno assist. Casemiro yellow. He ain't doing that Villa away. Cunha and MBEUMO need to improve their performances. 100%, I agree with that. See Bournemouth winning it. Sorry, we read that out. Bournemouth penalty as well. They're throwing in there. Always positive as usual, Andy. I'd like to see that. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. The game kicks off in 15 minutes' time. Obviously, we do pre-match build up 45 minutes, but me and Sam will be back afterwards discussing the game in full. Hopefully a win. Hopefully that we've moved up to 5th place in the Premier League and we start talking about European football and the lads put in a solid performance before the other players go off to AFCON. Fingers crossed. Thank you for joining me, Dan. Yeah, we'll both see you in a bit. See you later.